Tonight on DC News Now at 9, a DC prisoner escaped a hospital. Left early this morning. We're live with the latest details on how police are responding after waiting 17 hours to notify the public. Plus, investigations underway. A suspect shot in a double shooting overnight in the district. But in Maryland, police are investigating a fatal pedestrian crash in Montgomery County. What we know. And rating schools, the new plan in Virginia to judge local schools based on performance. The concerns over how they'll be funded in the future because of it. And yes, football is back. Game day for the Commanders taking on Tampa Bay. Heard from some fans on their hopes for the second season under new ownership.
Another cold night tonight, but as we head into the week, we start to warm up across the region, and then we start to see temperatures returning into the 80s.
Plus, savings on shelves and, yes, at home. The deals for school supplies that are on clearance with kids back in the classroom. Plus, how to nab a $20 credit for one popular TV provider.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And good Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight in the district. A manhunt is underway for an escaped prisoner after police say he ran away from officers just after he'd arrived at a hospital. You'll remember a murder suspect escaped George Washington University Hospital just last year. DC News Now's Dave Laval joins us live outside of United Medical Center in Southeast, where we're told this happened. Dave, what have you found on the ground?
Well, good evening to you, Ben. Unfortunately, there is not much to tell as DC police have released very little information regarding how their prisoner managed to escape. Let's go ahead and show you who they are looking for this evening. He is 27-year-old Derek Ross Sims of Southeast. Police charged him with carrying a pistol without a license and possession of a controlled substance. Police brought him to UMC around 12:30 this morning when he managed to escape within just moments as he took off on foot. Police brought Ross Sims here to be treated for an undisclosed ailment. Police said he's now wanted on a charge of escape issued by DC Superior Court. You're asked to contact DC Police if you have any information as to where Derek Ross Sims is. Your information could earn you a $10,000 reward. We're live at UMC in Southeast. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Dave, appreciate your reporting. Now, we did ask DC Police why it took them nearly 17 hours to notify the public about an escaped prisoner leaving the hospital. What are police telling us?
Well, a DC police spokesperson told us or responded to our question with this statement in an email. Quote, let me read it to you. Our office was notified this morning of the escape, and during that time, the release had to go through an approval process. Sorry for the inconvenience. They did not give us an explanation for why the approval process took so long. Ben?
It's at a United Medical Center in Southeast. Thank you, Dave. An update now to a story that we brought you earlier. George Mason University officials have lifted a shelter-in-place order at the school's Sci-Tech campus. This is in Manassas. Police were looking for what they called a, quote, potentially violent individual, but no word on if they caught that person, yet officials say it is safe to return to the area. All right, in Maryland, Montgomery County police say that a man is dead after being hit by a car in Silver Spring. It happened early this morning. Officials responded to the intersection of New Hampshire Avenue and Rodney Road just before 4:45. The victim was pronounced dead on scene. The driver of the car, we're told, was not hurt. The investigation is ongoing. All right, back in D.C., police are looking for this suspect after two people were shot late last night in Southwest. Officials say it happened on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue around 10:30 and near the D.C. Police Academy. It's there police found a man and a woman who had been shot, both conscious and breathing. Authorities are asking anyone with information to give them a call. All right, turning now to your sports, the new NFL season is here, and the Commanders open up the year against the Bucs in Tampa Bay. But fans were looking on here at home. They packed Crystal City Sports Pub, you can see right here in Arlington. Off-season moves have fans pumped as the Commanders look to return to the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Most of the excitement, we were told today, that centers around first-round draft pick and new starting QB Jayden Daniels.
In the right direction, so very excited. This is the beginning of the good.
We got that new young quarterback. If he can stay healthy, you see the style. It's these guys that can run, get out of the pocket. It creates havoc for defenses. This guy's got it. He can throw. He can run.
And despite the positivity, though it's good to have it, it was a disappointing outcome in this one for DC. They lost to the Bucs 37-20. On a positive note, quarterback Jayden Daniels scored 2 rushing touchdowns in his first career game. All right. Only looking up from here, right, Derek Bowen? He's in for Scott Sumner tonight. Hey, Derek.
Well, it is up from here, especially with the temperatures as we head overnight tonight. We'll have a little dip as we head into the overnight with temperatures falling down into the 40s and 50s. But as we head into tomorrow, it's another day and temperatures will rise into the mid to upper 70s. We could even see a few 80s out there. We'll continue the 80 streak all the way through the end of the week. We're looking at, of course, temperatures currently into the upper 60s as we currently speak. Back off towards the west, though, temperatures are cooling down into the upper 50s and low to mid 60s across the Ohio River Valley. Still very dry about the area, and it's going to be remaining dry at least through midweek as high pressure starts to move a bit more closer to our south and east. That'll return southerly flow. That'll give us a bit more moisture coming our way. Plus, we're also tracking a system in the Gulf of Mexico that could also bring us some rain as we head into the end of the week and into next weekend. Another chilly morning to start out Monday as this high pressure system continues to bring that cold air into the region. Some areas overnight could get into the 30s, especially in sheltered valleys across the Shenandoah as well as into the Potomac Highlands.
Alrighty, well, some new accountability systems in Virginia schools. The State Board of Education has just approved a new system. Schools are to be ranked as distinguished or on track, off track, or the lowest end in need of intensive support. Under the plan, many Virginia schools are listed as off track. Some people are concerned in those school systems that these poor grades could lead to less funding and could disproportionately impact kids and school districts in low income areas. Meantime, Governor Glenn Youngkin says the system is more transparent.
We had 66% of our students fail or near fail math and reading in elementary and middle school last year. And yet the accreditation process said that 89% of our schools were fully accredited. There's a massive mismatch there.
Youngkin also says increases in education funding in Virginia will go to implementing the new system. Staying in the Commonwealth, a Virginia man and campaign advisor to former President Trump, he's now facing charges over work done for sanctioned Russian media. Dmitry Simes, he's a Russian-born U.S. citizen and worked on Trump's 2016 campaign. He's accused of helping Russian state television network RT and laundering the proceeds. Prosecutors say Dmitry received more than $1 million in exchange for his work. His wife, Anastasia Simes, she's also facing charges, accused of receiving money from sanctioned Russian businessmen. If convicted, the two face up to 20 years in prison. Both are believed to be in Russia right now. Well, some soothing tunes at the annual Tacoma Park Folk Festival earlier today. Yeah, gotta get a dance in too, right? Festival goers were treated to a wide array of music, including old-time fiddle, bluegrass, and folk rock. Well, the dogs liked it too. We spoke with an organizer who says that they hope the event helps create a sense of community for music lovers here at home.
My favorite part about the festival is just the community aspect. You come here and you're going to see your neighbors. You're going to see people you know because it's been going on for so long and everybody knows about it and they know it's just a great place to come and hang out.
The festival also featured local vendors selling homemade goods, jewelry, ceramics, and some fine art. Back in the D.C., more ways to celebrate the 46th annual Adams Morgan Day. The celebration is the longest running neighborhood festival in D.C. The event celebrates diverse cultures and creativity in the neighborhood through dance, fashion, and fitness. Well, DC News Now is your local election headquarters. We are just 2 days away from the presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump. This is going to happen in Philadelphia. Several polls show Harris slightly edging the Trump camp in several battleground states and on key issues, but it's still showing the race is likely neck and neck. So what can people expect from this 90-minute debate? Caroline Vakel with our news partners on the Hill sat down with our Tosin Fakile to explain.
What should Americans, especially undecided voters, be looking out for or hope to get from this debate?
I think it's gonna, well, good morning to you, Tosin, by the way. I think what it's going to be offering is a bit of clarity for voters in terms of seeing the contrast between Donald Trump and Vice President Harris for the first time on stage. The two will be on the same stage for the first time. And so, you know, we saw Donald Trump and we saw Vice President Harris at their respective conventions. They're going to be coming together, talking policy, talking their vision, and kind of giving voters sort of a first intro together on the national stage.
And, you know, speaking of policies, what topics do you think people should pay attention to as they respond to these questions?
Well, that's a great question. I think for Vice President Harris, I think one of the things that she's, you know, we should be watching for is some of her policy reversals on things like fracking, you know, that maybe we might expect to come up potentially at the debate, you know, why she has reversed or changed her policy position since the 2020 Democratic primary. We can also expect her to, you know, or potentially another question that might come up, I should say, is the Israel-Hamas war, which has been a bit of a flashpoint in the Democratic primary this cycle. You know, on the other hand, for Donald Trump, what I'm going to be watching for is, you know, questions around democracy, the 2020 election, and as well as, you know, January 6th. Those might be topics that I'm watching for him to sort of talk about and sort of how he's going to be navigating some of those issues.
And that happens 48 hours from now, the debate. All right, even though the NFL just got underway this week, we're already looking ahead to Super Bowl Sunday, not just for the game, but also the halftime show. Kendrick Lamar, rap superstar, just announced that he will headline the halftime show in New Orleans. Lamar was among the group of artists who headlined the show during the Super Bowl just 2 years ago. He shared the spotlight with legendary group of hip-hop stars Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Dr. Dre.